Hello there guys, and welcome back to a brand new Star Wars Squadrons video. The other week I covered the history of the ASF-01 B-Wing, so today I'm going to be covering the history of the TIE D Defender. The TIE Defender was an advanced experimental starfighter manufactured by Scinar Fleet Systems under Grand Admiral Thrawn's TIE Defender project, and this was to combat the rising threat of the Rebel Alliance. The TIE Defender project was backed by the likes of Grand Moff Tarkin and even Emperor Palpatine himself, with many other Imperials considering using Project Stardust funding to go to the Defender program as it was cheaper and was without delays, unlike Project Stardust. That said, due to Governor Price's actions and destroying the fuel depots on Lothal in an attempt to wipe out the Ghost Crew, the program was then shut down for good. Whilst the TIE Defender never saw much widespread use, aspects from the Starfighter were then taken on board by the First Order for their TIE VN and TIE SF space superiority fighters. Like most TIE-line starfighters, the TIE Defender features a ball-shaped cockpit and solar array wings. However, unlike most TIEs, the Defender has shields, a hyperdrive and 3 wings as opposed to the usual 2. The TIE Defender was considered a fighter-bomber and was armed with 6 heavy laser cannons and concussion missiles. In Squadrons, it will be focused as a fighter class and will therefore be able to use any of the fighter class components available to it. As the TIE Defender project continued, there was an upgraded version of it called the TIE Defender Elite. This was faster, more manoeuvrable, and it had better shielding, hyperdrive, and even 6 additional missiles mounted to the wings. The TIE Defender was first used in a mission whilst trying to capture Mon Mothma, a rogue senator at the time. Despite the mission being unsuccessful, it was seen as a success for the TIE Defender project because it was able to withstand the intense heat from a forming star in the Archeon Nebula. TIE Defenders were then used by the 7th Fleet against the Grisk and was even used by Darth Vader himself. Vader felt that the ship needed to be faster, have more weaponry and be easier to fly. Thrawn then relayed this feedback, and thus the TIE Defender Elite was born. Once the TIE Defender Elites had been produced, the Ghost Crew actually managed to steal one from the base on Lothal. However, Thrawn activated the kill switch in that ship, which meant that the ship then crashed into the ground. Fortunately, they were able to salvage the hyperdrive and the flight data recorder as well, which made its way to the Alliance, which ultimately led to the failed Rebel attack on Lothal. Thrawn then left to Coruscant to meet with the Emperor to discuss funding for the Defender project, and during this time the rebels launched a rescue operation to save Hera from Imperial hands, which ultimately led to the death of Kanan Jarrus and the destruction of the Imperial fuel depot. As a result of the fuel depot's destruction, TIE Defender production ceased and the funding went to Project Stardust. Despite production being halted, the odd TIE Defender was known to appear. Here we can see the wreckage of one on Jakku, so seeing them come to Squadrons from a canon point of view doesn't really alter their history at all, which for me is good, but it also means we get a kick-ass ship to fly in the multiplayer. That is pretty much everything to do with the TIE Defender though. I hope you did enjoy the video. Let me know in the comments what ship you're most excited to play out of the B-Wing and TIE Defender when they come later in December. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the Force be with you always.